Kell Brook, Errol Spence.
Yeah.
Looks like those two guys are going to fight. How do you see that fight playing out? I mean, obviously, you know, this is the moment that Errol Spence has been waiting for. He's trying to get to that championship level and everything. Kell Brook's a hard fight. You know, I think a lot of people are looking at this and automatically giving it to Errol Spence. How do you see that fight playing out between those two?
I do consider Kell Brook a little bit of a hard fight. It's not that Errol's not up for the challenge and that he's not incapable of overcoming the challenge, you know. But they were, you know, he was against Bundu, even though he had a tremendous knockout victory. Before the knockout, Bundu was awkward for him, you know. Bundu can really box. Bundu has true experience and things of that nature, you know. Luckily, best thing about Errol is that he always fights his fight. He stays well composed, and you know that's what both fighters were kind of doing. They're fighting their fight. He was patient. He was able to punch him, hurt him, just like I did, and then jump on him and finish him, which I did not do. I did not go for that route. He went for that route, and prior to the fight, I said, if Errol hurts him the way I hurt him, Errol will finish him. Because the way they train, you can tell that they train to, if this happens, we're going, we're in, we're committed. He's a very committed fighter, and that's a strength of his, because why not, right? You got the guy hurt, why not just get him out of there? You don't want to play around, dance around, and give them an opportunity to win, you know? So I like the way that the kid fights, but Kell Brook is not a small guy, you know, at least 5'10". He's got good height, got good reach. Errol's got good height and good reach too, but I would think Kell Brook's still just a little bit bigger.
Well, the weight cut for him's hard. Is it like, when you see Kell Brook, do you think he's a bigger guy than you?
Oh, when he fought Sean Porter, I got out of the elevator. He approached me and shook my hand and things of that nature. And yeah, I mean, you know, he's at least 5'10". I'm only like 5'8" and a half, you know, so he's got good height for a welterweight. He's also got the reach for it, you know. He's got good boxing ability, a solid 1-2. I think that's Kell Brook's strong point is the way he throws his 1-2. Decent speed, but well composed. They're both well composed. It's definitely going to be a good fight. You know, Errol Spence with his Olympic background and everything that he's been through, he's living his dream. He's trying to make his dreams come true. He's obviously in that hunger stage, and when a fighter has that much experience and they're that hungry for it, they're coming to win. You must believe that. But I forget what fight it was back in the day, you know, but he got caught. But he's a real fighter. You know what I mean? They talk about, oh, Thurman's been hit with this, these fighters been hit with that. Floyd's been hit with stuff. It's not about what happens. It's not about never getting hit. It's about how you compose yourself when you do get hit. That's what matters. Example, Victor Ortiz. You know what I mean? Victor Ortiz, he didn't manage himself well against Marcos Maidana, but then he got hungry again, and he did manage himself well against Andre Berto. You know, but then Berto came back the first time. Berto came back the second time, and he got his jaw messed up or something when he fought.
Yeah, when he fought Josecito Lopez.
Josecito Lopez, and you know, he was too timid. We've seen fighters fight through a broken jaw in the history of the sport of boxing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying he didn't make the right call, wrong call, whatever. Let's talk about overall heart and the will to win, and that it's not about getting hit, but how you manage the fact that you got hit, or how you manage the fact that you got hurt, or how do you manage the fact that you are hurt, but you're not going to let your opponent know. That happens too, where the whole crowd doesn't know that fighter is feeling something right now, and I call it poker face moment. You know, like if the knee doesn't buckle, there's not a physical sign. You know what I mean? If certain things don't happen, there's not a physical sign. Without that physical sign, it's hard to read. But there are times where legitimate blows are being landed and there's damage being dealt, but the fighter, because he's a true warrior, holds that temperament. I've said that Kell Brook is a very good fighter, but only beating Sean Porter, one good American fighter, there's not doubt about it, but there's still some controversy on his true greatness. So overcoming Errol Spence will actually announce some form of his true greatness, because he's fighting another kid that's coming up who wants a piece of everybody and does have that Olympic background. You know, Amir Khan has the Olympic background, and you know, they have their little beef that has never boiled up to anything yet. But you know, I don't think I didn't think it was a good move up to fight Triple G for Kell Brook. It's a double weight class jump. You have yet to fight Keith Thurman, the hardest puncher in the welterweight division right now. You've yet to face Canelo Alvarez, but you're going for the puncher of 160. You know what I mean? That was the mistake. You know, hopefully his injury isn't subjected to easy fractures or anything. Bone normally heals stronger, so I think he'll be okay. But no, this is a great fight for the fight fans. It's a tremendous title defense, and this is what Errol has been asking for. So we've seen him perform. I'm pretty sure he's going to perform again, but now he's finally performing up against a high caliber fighter, and it is going to be interesting to see that outcome. You know, I don't even know how I rate it, but I do rate it as a potentially close fight. I think Errol may have the ability to hurt Kell Brook more than Kell Brook has the ability to hurt Errol. So we'll see what happens.
Which one do you think has the tougher task? Is it Errol because he's fighting for a world title for the first time, or is it Kell because, I mean, obviously he's got to make the weight. That's a battle in and of itself, but then he's also got to fight a young, hungry kid that's coming up.
Well, I'm pretty sure Spence is going to go for a knockout because he's going overseas. You know, I think he's going to do what he's always done, which is fight at a certain tempo and try to break him down. Now the thing is Kell going to allow himself to get broken down? Triple G broke him down. Triple G's a bigger dude. It was a simple task. It didn't take Triple G that long to break him down. You know what I'm saying? I think it's going to take more rounds for Spence to break him down. I think he could break him down possibly if things are going his way, 7th, 8th, 9th round. You know, I think if it was to go into the 10th, 11th, and 12th, as long as making weight wasn't a major issue, I think it should go the whole 12 rounds. If it hits the 10th, I would almost assume that it goes 12. But maybe I'm just calling it a few rounds short. But we'll see, man. I from my observation on how Errol fights, he's a tree chopper. He chops at you, and lets you fall down. You know. Because he's just going to break you down and then go for the punches. You know, who's the fighter that he broke down?
Algieri.
You know, the way he broke Algieri down. You know, Algieri stayed on the ropes. I don't think he's somebody that you want to stay on the ropes with. But another thing too about Errol is he's a little bit like Danny in the sense that when he's throwing his punches, he's committed to his punches. So I wonder what happens when the person, you know, is just as strong and willing to trade with him. You know,
that's a good point because Algieri, I think Algieri's even moving back down to 140 for his next fight. So he's a smaller guy.
Yeah, exactly. He's a smaller guy. You know, I mean, I favored Spence heavily in that fight. I didn't think Algieri had any shot. You know, Algieri did okay against Khan, but Khan's a 140 pounder too. You know, there's not really no difference. There's a difference fighting Errol Spence. That's why I think there's a difference that we're going to prove on March 4th. against Danny. There is a difference from 140 and 147, but luckily these two fighters are legitimate welterweights. It's a good fight.
Are you surprised Kell took it as opposed to say, because, oh, really? Really?
No, I'm not surprised that he took it. He fought Sean Ford, he fought Triple G. Nah, he's a yes man. He's a yes man.
Yeah.
He proved he got he wasn't afraid to let it go.
True.
If you can beat me, beat me. You know what I mean? He's got the true heart of a true warrior who wants greatness for himself, but he's willing to challenge himself against the best fighters in the world. He wanted to fight me after Sean Porter. It was his manager who decided. He said the next day, "I'm not fighting no Keith Thurman." But Kell Brook himself wants to fight. So I just see that he's ready for anybody.
Yeah.
He lives up to the challenge.